I
Okay,
just want to
cool.
be able to watch Ken more than once in case
I don't think that this will be the last time you will hear from Ken.
no, I know.
Okay.
No, I'm here for you guys. I'm here. The Vibe
Yes.
Tribe is now my tribe. Woo! I want in.
Okay, awesome. So I'll introduce Ken, even though most of you guys know who he is, but I'll introduce him before we start talking to him. But Stephanie, why don't you quickly just introduce yourself and tell everybody about your first experience with Healy too.
Oh, okay. So, you guys, I'm the newest member, I think, of the Vibe Tribe. I joined, what was it, Ashley? Monday, maybe? Was it Monday? Something like that. It's been a weird week. I met up with some of you guys, Trisha and Alicia and Ken, and I don't have my glasses on, but I joined everyone last Friday in Orlando. I live in Tampa. I got in my car and jumped in and came over, and I've been dealing with some emotional stuff and some pretty bad anxiety, and Ashley hooked me up during the day-long seminar and did a couple of rounds, and I felt like $1 million. And I said, I don't even know if I want to do this business, but I want to order a Healy like right away. So yeah, my first experience was an awesome experience, and I can't wait to share it with the world. And that's pretty much what I do. My background is in social work and in mental health. I currently do public relations for a couple of companies. The one that aligns the most with what Healy does and what you guys do. I am the brand ambassador for a company called Fit to Profit. And Fit to Profit is actually a coaching business. And we coach health coaches to double and scale your businesses. And so one of the things I think is really cool, and I would love to talk to you guys, anyone who's interested, is integrating Healy into an existing business, sort of how Ashley has done so, and just bouncing ideas off of all of you to see if it's something that you would be interested in really getting to do, and intertwining Healy with whatever else you're doing if Healy is not your only thing going on. So yeah, I'm really thrilled to be here. Ashley and I have known each other for about 10 years, but we went some time without seeing each other, and we reconnected. And like she said, it's like the stars aligned, and I am so thrilled that we're back in each other's lives. And I'm really excited to be part of this group. So thank you guys.
Thanks, Stephanie. Guys, me and Stephanie met in a MLM 10 years ago and both had PTSD from it, like major PTSD.
Okay, I didn't know how formal or informal this was. Ashley contacted me 2 years ago, you guys. And when I asked her if it was an MLM and she even like kind of hesitated, I disappeared. I was like, peace out, no way. I wish I had joined then, but the timing is right now. It's right. But yeah, that's how bad it was.
That's a great story though for everyone. I mean, people, if it's right for them, they're going to come back.
Yeah.
So welcome again for take two, Steph. Take two.
Take two. I'll mute myself, but it's nice to meet all of you that I didn't meet last week. And I'm really excited to be here. I'm really excited.
Cool. All right, Heather.
Hi,
everyone. Oh my gosh, it's so good to see you.
It's so good to see you. Ken, we actually met and spoke at the event as well a few times. And Stephanie, we did as well. You were wearing a red dress, I think, that day. I didn't have a hat on.
I was gonna say, I was so overwhelmed. I met so many amazing people. So I'm glad I wore a red dress because obviously you remember me. So thanks.
Yeah. And I think the connection, Sarah, what's her last name? Blacka. Yes. She's sort of at the top, I think, both of our trees, if I'm not mistaken. So that's where the crossover for us came in. But Ashley and Kristen and I went out the very first night in Florida and had a wonderful time and connected. And I haven't been in the Healy world for that long, like 4 weeks, I think. But I was invited to the event from Jessica, the person who sponsored me. And speaking of adding it to the business you already do. So I've been a health coach for over 10 years, and I work with people who struggle with food and body, and I have a lot of programs on how to create a healthier relationship with your body and yourself and food. And I have, I'm the co-author of 6 New York Times bestselling cookbooks as well. So I have a pretty healthy community that I share in, and shared it pretty fast and was able to sell quite a few. And I'm still trying to figure out really how I'm going to integrate these two worlds. But a dietitian friend of mine, because that's what I am as well, we actually got together today, and we're going to do like this whole frequency and food. We have some ideas of how we're going to combine these things and make them work, because it's such a good fit. I mean, I'm thrilled to have this tool to be able to share with them. I've been working with clients for years. I mean, I started to raise my own vibe 20 years ago, and I've been creating tools and sharing tools and doing all the things to help me and everybody that I work with create more health and get into a higher, get into those higher vibes. And so as soon as I found this tool, I was like, yes.
Heather, you and I should talk a little bit more about Fit to Profit.
Yeah,
I think that we could really, it would be really fun to collaborate.
Fun. Yeah. So I just jumped on the call because I'm going to be creating something like Vibe Tribe. I think Heart-Centered Health is the name I'm going to go with. And I'm really impressed with what the Vibe Tribe has done and how you guys have structured things. And I think you've done an amazing job, which doesn't surprise me at all, because after meeting you guys, your heart and your love for the people that you serve is in everything that you do. So that's why I'm here, and excited to see what Ken has to share, because after chatting with Ken at the event, lots of good stuff I'm sure is going to be shared. So thanks so much.
Yay. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
And what you do with food is so unique. When we were all sitting at the table, I was like telling her things that happen with me and eating. Like, I don't have an eating disorder or anything, but we all have some kind of emotional ties to eating. And so after that call, every single time I ate something, me and Kristen would start talking to our food. We'd be like, it's okay, you're going to go right into my digestive system. It's the funniest thing ever. So I love you. Thank you for being here. We're all very graced by your presence.
Thank you so much.
Okay, now the man.
Hey, Ashley.
Yeah.
Sorry, do you mind if I chime in really quick before you move on?
Yeah.
I just wanted to say thank you to Stephanie and Heather for jumping on this call and bringing what you bring, because this is exactly what I'm here for, is trying to integrate Healy into my already established wellness business. And also, we work very closely with a dietitian who also is on my team and bought a Healy with me. Ashley, she's not on this call, but she is looking exactly for like what you're talking about, ways to bring the frequency and the food together. Beautiful. So I'm so excited to share this with her. And I just wanted to say thank you for both of you for hopping on. And you're probably going to hear or see my face or hear my, like, I'm going to contact you basically.
I was going to say, actually, I want to exchange information. I see that it says Sunflower Yoga. Remind me what your first name is again?
Soulflower Yoga.
Soulflower.
Thank you, Ashley. Yeah, Soulflower Yoga and Wellness. That's our website. And my name is Sam.
Sam, gotcha.
Yeah,
we will be in touch.
Nice
Okay.
to meet you, Sam. Yeah,
nice to meet you too. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. It's nice to meet you. I'm very excited.
In the RD world, there aren't that many of us sharing it yet. So it'd be so fun to speak to your friend, and we can share with her the ways that we're coming up with to do it, and all sorts of fun ideas that are flowing through. So we're happy to share. We love it that there's other RDs that are jumping on board. We know a few, but we haven't seen that many. So I think it's really awesome.
Cool. So if you guys can like drop your your contacts in the chat, I can send it over to her. But thank you, Ashley. I didn't want to interrupt your call. I just wanted to get in there.
No, I'm going to take a second just to say how amazing our freaking team is. The Vibe Tribe
I'm
is
dropping
amazing.
it in now, Sam. So I will, and for any of you.
Thanks. This is an amazing team,
Mark.
and the synchronicities are so amazing.
Okay, real quick, before I pass it over to Ken, I'm going to have a moment with Mark here for a second, when me and Mark were just like on a call, and I was like, what the hell does the black line mean? Like, tell me what the black line means. And now we're here with people from all over the world. I mean, it's amazing. It's really like, I'm having a moment right now. And I have a black line. How funny. Okay, I'm going to pass it over to Ken now. Ken, Ken is a board member on the Healy US team. And if you haven't been watching a lot of calls or videos that I've posted in the Vibe Tribe website, Ken is all over them. He is like a complete like encyclopedia when it comes to not just Healy, but all things energy. I mean, I'm talking to him about breath work. I'm talking to him about Dr. Joe Dispenza. Like when I met him in the lobby, the universe made me run concentration, and me and Kristen were going out to the pool to work. And so that's why I ran concentration. And we ran into Ken in the lobby and we sat there for 45 minutes and my eyes were like this the whole time, just like taking in the information. And then we went to the pool and I was like, no, that's not done. So I texted and I was like, do you want to come by the pool and talk more? And he came down and talked to Alicia and me and Heather. I think you were there. And he's just such an incredible wealth of knowledge. And so I wanted him to come on, not only to be here for questions, which I'm sure that he's not going to be able to answer all of them, but I also wanted him, because he was telling me as I was explaining what I want out of this business, he was like, well, do you get on this call? Do you get on this call? I was like, no. So he is going to explain all of the different resources that are available to us. And I know, like, I'm on a Monday night call. I'm on this call. I get it. It's a lot of calls, but I tuned into the Tech Tip Tuesday call and like learned something new, and then was able to ask some questions that I had. So like, I'm not going to miss those calls. And then What's Up Wednesday was the call that I was on yesterday, if anybody caught that. So that was pretty cool. So with that, Ken, I'm just going to pass it over to you and let's just start the Ken Talks.
Oh my gosh, you guys are beautiful. I'm just saying, I mean, there's amazing talent right here that's unprecedented. So just feel into that for a minute. You know, what I tell people, the first thing when I see someone is I say, first of all, understand one thing, that you are whole and you are complete. There's nothing that I can offer you that's going to make you even more than that. So if you can sit in that for a moment, agree with yourself that I am whole and I am complete, the heart opens. It opens wide open. It cracks open and goes, all of a sudden, man, I know this. And understand that the brain thinks, but the heart really knows. So the moment we open that heart, look out. And I think Ashley will attest to this, because stuff happens. I would use a different word, but we're being recorded. So the point here is that everybody should feel into their own greatness right now. Okay. Thank you for having me here. Thank you for the opportunity to share and expand. And there are so many vast resources. The one resource that I think is underestimated is you. I mean, plain and simple. The biggest resource that's underestimated is you. And so sit in that for a minute and allow that to expand. And there is not a limit. If you can sit and expand you all over the universe, now you're getting a glimpse of who you really are, a glimpse. So I've been with Healy. I'll tell you a little backstory. I've been with Healy for 2.5 years. I actually was offered the opportunity to open it in the United States. I said, yes, of course. But Healy came to me in a Dr. Joe event. You heard Ashley talk about what I do, what I've done for the last decade, a little over a decade, is follow the Dr. Joe protocol and the training and the epigenetic phenomenon of our mental power, the mind. And so over a decade, my goal is about 2 live events with Dr. Joe per year. I'm about 18 live events with Dr. Joe in terms of training. And when you're doing a training with a specific modality, and you've done training, and it's almost like it's part of who you are, understand every time you go to a new training, even though it's maybe remembered or consistent content, is that you're never the same person twice. When you show up at that event, even if you've gone to the same event over and over again, you're not the same person, and your perception has been shifted. Anybody out there ever watched a movie more than once, and the second go around or the third go around, you saw something you didn't notice the first? You know what I'm talking about?
Mhm.
So that's what I'm talking about. The second time you watched the movie, you weren't the same person. You were in a different focal point. Biologically, to the tune of 800,000 cells per second, you were not the same person. And so you can't expect the same result. And
Oops, we lost you, babe.
Ken, you're frozen.
self
Uh-oh. He'll be back in a second.
That is a great action pose, though, Ken.
Yes, it is. Ken talks. Oh yeah, Mercury retrograde. Great. He'll be back, even if he has to hop off and hop back on.
Ashley, just while Ken's
Yeah, I was
finding
gonna
his
say
way back
someone better
again.
say something.
Yeah. While he's finding his way back again, I got to say that Ken was the one that kept so many of us alive in 2020. The one that kind of educated all of us in the original OGs at the very beginning. It was his calls. He was the one helping us understand how to use this thing. We didn't have the back office and all the rest. And so Ken is
No
amazing.
way.
And so to come in and found your way to Ken, and to pop on the call and have him in the call this morning was a little moment for me to see it all go full circle. So
Wow,
that was really
full
special.
circle.
Yeah.
Yeah, when we were in the lobby and he was talking, it was like I was learning about Healy for the first time. Like I think that I know so much, but I don't. And we don't, guys. We have no idea the tool that we have in our hands. We have no idea what it's going to do to the world as far as helping people, the healthcare system. Like we just have no idea. So while Ken is getting back on, let's make sure he didn't like text me or anything. No. I'll tell you a little bit about the experience there in Florida. I was really surprised at how like the corporate office is beautiful, but guys, it's like not that big. And so to think about where we are and where we're going, I mean, when I went in there, I was like, wow, it's so like pristine. I was talking to the customer service guy that I email back and forth all the time. So I haven't faced to him, so I can't be rude to him anymore. But I'm just kidding. I'm not that rude. But when I'm talking to him, I was like, this corporate office looks kind of empty. And he was like, yeah, he was like, we have, 20 employees, but we're rapidly expanding. And we wanted to have the office a little bit bigger. So by this time next year, like we could fill the office. And someone else was like, they're going to need a whole building, like maybe not next year, but the year after that. I mean, it is just so exciting to see where we are. And guys, I was on the dance floor with Marcus, like not in the room, on the dance floor. And we have pictures and videos of it. Marcus is real. He is as heart-centered and amazing as you think that. I know, Mark, it was pretty amazing. He's so adorable. He had his little earbuds in because the music was too loud, but he was just kind of like bopping around. It was incredible. I won an award. I should have had my award. I had no idea that I was actually going to win an award. I won an award. I got called up on stage to take a picture. And my award is like a big, giant crystal thing that says like my name and director. And it was like an event. And just meeting the people. Now Sarah Blacka and Taryn are coming to Landenberg, PA. Like what's happening right now? Like what's happening in the Vibe Tribe right now? It's just super exciting. anyone else who was in Florida, can you think of, I mean, Heather, obviously, like meeting you was like such a highlight, and the other amazing women. What was like a
Yeah.
major highlight for you?
Well, I'm so new in this world that I think it was just fun to really get, I mean, I had a full body yes as soon as I found this little device, and it felt very, I don't know, it just felt like every cell of my body said yes. I was sharing it before I even knew it was an MSN. Is that how you say it? Before I even knew
MLM.
an MLM.
That's the cutest thing I've ever heard.
That was really cute.
I've never been in an MLM, and I've never done this kind of marketing before, but I was sharing it before I even knew that existed, because that's what I do. I'm like, you guys, I found something. I don't know exactly what it is, but you know, my inner voice told me that frequency medicine's a thing, and now this device is in my hand. Like, let's just do it. And I did that with everybody on my email list, and I did it with my close friends. And so I got a full body yes, but it was really fun just to be in that space with the people who founded it. Carolyn McMacken, like she blew my mind. Like she's so practical in how she presents this stuff, and her pioneering ways of like really bringing frequency medicine back into the world inspired me so much. And Marcus is just all heart, and just to know that I'm kind of in the right place, and that, you know, very typical of me, I'm like, yeah, I'm in. And then I'm like way ahead of myself and missed all these steps. And then I was so glad I got there, and I'm like, oh, okay, good. These are heart-centered people I want to be in business with. So it was such a confirmation. And meeting you guys too, I was like, and we only live a few hours away from each other, which is perfect too. So
I'm jealous about that.
Yeah. I mean, Washington, D.C. is where I was born and raised. Believe me.
That's where Ashley and I met.
Yeah. I came back here a few years ago, and my parents were sick, but being in DC the last few years was interesting, to say the least, but it's exciting, you know, just to connect and to feel like, well, this is something for me. When I found it, not only, I mean, I've been doing this work for a while, and I've had great success in this business that I've built, and I'm so grateful and happy with all of that. But I wanted to be connected to a group that I felt was really influencing collective consciousness, and a group that I could be involved in. And I feel like this device is so powerful, and that it really is opening those timelines of more connection, more healing, more health. I mean, it's an exciting thing. So I'm thrilled.
And you just reminded me of something that Carolyn McMacken said, like at the very end of her presentation. She engaged the entire audience. She was like, and what are we doing? And we all had to say, harmonizing the bioenergetic field. So right. I want you guys to remember that, because, you know, like she was saying, like, does this do all of these things? Yes, it does. They have the science, and they're proving it they're doing it with Healy too, that, you know, Time Waver and Healy are doing more research. It's incredible. They're not just like saying, okay, yeah, this is working. Like, just, that's the proof. They're still doing the clinical studies. And, but she was saying people are coming after us. So you have to be very, very careful about what you say about Healy. Oh, Ken's back. Yay. So harmonizing the bioenergetic field. That's what we're doing. Okay, let's see if he's back. Are you back?
Oh my goodness. So sorry.
That's okay.
Can you hear me?
Welcome back. We can hear you. Welcome back.
So I'm in a very small community in southern Idaho. And so I'm traveling. And so it's like, obviously I'm in my car. So it's like, dang it. So I literally am driving around town trying to find a signal. So here we are. Yay.
It's all good. It's all good. Mark said while you dropped off that when he started, Mark, when did you start? 2000 and?
It's back at the start of 2020, Ken. And I was just saying that you were like our life raft. You're the one I learned everything from, watching your videos, and you were, yeah. So, and I was having a little moment seeing you on this call when I turned up this morning, and to see you here with this Vibe Tribe. And that was really special. So I appreciate it. I appreciate you so much, brother.
Wow. Thank you, Mark. Wow, thank you very much. You know, it's when we are tossed into a situation, we've got a couple options. We can freeze right? We can run, we can hide, or you can do what I do. We can cannonball into the pool. It's like, I'm like, okay. You know, a lot of times that prehistoric brain, that limbic brain says, you know, I'm unsafe. I don't know where I'm at. I'm in a territory of unfamiliar surroundings. And so, so the natural limbic brain, that prehistoric brain, the thing that survived, got us to where we are today, starts to take over. And so, so I want to, you know, I'm going to address a little of that tonight, if I may. And, but I also want to cover the resources that are available to you guys, and the honor I feel in terms of being able to be part of that. Right, this was just one of those things instinctively, and I will ask you all. I mean, what drew you to Healy? You know, you've probably had some energetic influence, right? Whether there was a need within the body, there was still an energetic influence to said, made you say yes, or encouraged you to say yes. Even though there was some other thing saying, I don't know if I can, whatever, I can't this, I can't that. But you still said yes, and you dove in, and you heard Stephanie say it, right? And I love the idea that there is a consciousness that we're tapped into that helps us in this guidance, helps us in this answering process, helps us in this justification. And it's based on, you know, it's based on whatever exposure you've had. So Mark, thank you for tuning in to whatever was put out there that got you in, you know, kept you here. What's got us here will not get us where we want to go. Okay, I just want you to understand that what got us here was primal instinct, was survival content. And we can't live in that response forever. We can survive. We're designed to make it for a short period of time, but it's the continuation of that stress response that creates the chronic conditions in our world. So moving forward, we've got a lot of things going on, and the tools that have been built and solidified for us. The biggest resource that anyone in the United States, and even out of the country, because, you know, honestly, there's a lot of countries that don't have what the US has, and not because they're not capable. It's just that maybe they started a little behind. Maybe the leadership hasn't just decided to, you know, this is my baby and I got to take hold of it. But whatever the case may be, the US is taking big strides in making tools and creating tools. And so you heard Ashley mention, I'm part of the US leadership board. So the Healy organization, the corporate organization, is creating 3 boards worldwide of 10 members each. And the US solidified theirs first. And I'm one of the 10. And I'm honored to be there because I've always believed that I felt like I was one of the portals, the voice, the ears, and the interaction with the field. And this happened right away when I first started with Healy. You know, I'm an engineer. My background is electronics engineer, so I had a lot of education, understanding about the product and the technology. But what solidified it for me and built the belief for me was a meditation I was in Dr. Joe's event in January. I was in Spain of 2018. And there was a meditation I was in, and I remember I'm a techie brain. So all this technology came to me in a moment. I knew everything about this. And the fun thing was it even had a watch. I mean, I was able to interface with energy, with frequency. And there was even a watch that was attached to it. I didn't know any of this. This was 2018. And fast forward a year later, a brother of mine from Australia, Mark, yeah, Australia, you Aussies rock. He said, hey, guess what? Remember that technology you were telling me about a year ago? He goes, hey, there was a German guy that just invented it. He said, you want to introduce it in the United States? I'm like, oh, dude, I don't need to answer that. I'm in. So, so there was already an internal understanding. And I think this is built when you're introduced to Healy, that there was an internal understanding, something said, yes, I'm in, even if it took 2 years. You know, I heard that little timeline, even if it took a long time, but there's an internal understanding that this is a good thing. So I want you guys to, when you're out there communicating, prospecting, interacting, to understand you can't say the wrong thing to the right person. And there's already understanding that they're on board with you. So the resources that we built, I mean, this happened right away, right when I first started in 2019. We built a Telegram group, and the Telegram group is the Healy, it's a Team Healy USA. That's the name of it, Team Healy USA Telegram group. If you're not in it right now, get in it. Go search it, find it. If you don't use Telegram, start using Telegram. Okay. Whatever, if you have any resistances to some of these messaging modalities, let them go, surrender those, and get in that group. This is a spot in which we put content every week. Every week is the content that's relative to that, to the now, to the moment, present moment. And there are three main calls that are posted in there. One is my passion to connect to the field, which created the mastermind team. So myself, Doc Steve, you've heard Doc Steve, and Terry Perez. We are the mastermind team that solidified early on in Healy. And we created, along with Rick Fleshman, that was our general manager before the corporate team we have now. But we created What's Up Wednesday. What's Up Wednesday is the place to be. If nothing else if everything else around your team building is all over the week, or even if it conflicts with What's Up Wednesday, try to rearrange your schedule. What's Up Wednesday is going to always be training. It's always going to be value. It's always going to be the latest and greatest information. We always have Jake Barron. He is our head of operations. We always have Adriana Alvarez, our head of sales. We always have customer service agents, probably to the tune of 5 to 8 of them in the background, looking at the chat. All right. You're going to have myself, Doc Steve, Terry Perez. We're going to have amazing guest speakers, like your leader, Ashley, was on there this week, and she did a brilliant job. Oh my God, I just love her presence. She just is authentic. That's the word I like to use. You are authentic, girl. So, and I feel you. So we have people on there because we want to engage the field. We want to allow the field to show their leadership, to show the rest of the United States, the rest of the world, because they're recorded, that they are stepping up to the plate. So What's Up Wednesday? It's always at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern. Okay. Even in your back office, under events, is a direct link to that event, to that particular call every week. All right. So it's there in your back office. It's also going to be posted in the Telegram group. So get on that Telegram group.
What time
Call
is the call,
2.
Ken? Sorry.
It is at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern.
Thank you.
Every Wednesday. Yep. It's the same link, but definitely use the link that we post in the Telegram group, because if there's ever a technical difficulty, we have to use a backup. You know what I mean? Then they're going to be guaranteed to be in. I post all that. I mean, most of the time, probably 99% of the time, I post all that. And again, I'm an engineer, so I'm like, I'm going to test it, make sure it works. And then when you guys get on, it works for you. Okay, the next one. Tech Tip Tuesday. You heard Ashley talk about it. She had joined this week. And Tech Tip Tuesday is a forum in which you can place your questions, your issues, your problems, your technical issue, whatever it is, your sciencey questions. You put that in the chat and we will unpack those live on the call. And I have Jake Barron from operations on that call. I also have a tech support agent in the background that is fielding real-time answers. So in other words, let's say you have a ticket that you've put in and it's just not getting solved. Come to the call on Tech Tip Tuesday. and put your question in the chat. That live agent will take your ticket and they will look at it personally. That's like having your own VIP line. Think about that, right? That's pretty valuable, right? So be there. And as you heard Ashley, sometimes you learn something new you didn't know before. This is where we gain knowledge. I always tell all of my people, all of my teammates, is to go to Healy School spend at least 1 hour a day in Healy School, learning something, going to your back office, researching every tab you can get your fingers on, and then dig deep into what they mean and how they operate. Secondly, look at a recording. Go back to recording. If you're going to spend 1 hour a day learning, all those calls are only an hour. So there you go. And the cool thing is all these calls that we're creating for the United States is getting put on the team. It's on the HealyAmericas.com, HealyAmericas.com. It's the YouTube page. So everything's being put on there. And the other cool thing about these calls is they're hyperlinked. Now, Jake is manually, diligently doing this on his own time, taking those calls. He's re-listening to them. He's finding very specific content that's covered at a particular moment in time. He's creating a hyperlink for each one of those tidbits of content and then putting a timestamp on them. Guess what that timestamp is? It's a link. So you can go and read the content. Think about this in terms of your own value. You read the content, there's something you want to know about maybe charging the battery on the Healy. And you look at the content and say, oh my goodness, there's something on charging the battery on the Healy. You can click on that link. It'll take you right to the information in the video. You don't have to watch the whole thing. Or you can even copy it, put it in a little folder, little email, something to hold it for yourself, send it. You even share it with a friend. But it's going to be content that's relevant to what you need to know. So all that stuff, the What's Up Wednesdays, the Tech Tip Tuesdays, they're all hyperlinked. Also within what we do once a month is that we have it's called Frequencies with Friends. This is a corporate sponsored event. You have to register because it is a webinar jam event. And that link to that, the access to that, you're going to get an email. But if you don't get an email, guess what? It's in the Telegram group. So being a member of that Telegram group, keeping an eye on it is going to be your best asset as well. So any of those calls that are done in the United States, those are also put on the YouTube channel. We also have what's called Healy for Beginners and Beyond. Now, I'm going to tell you, if you guys don't have one of these calls on your website or in your onboarding process, then I'm calling you right now in a minute and I'm going to tell you, get it on there. So the Healy for Beginners and Beyond is an unboxing. It's a super simple explanation of everything from taking the Healy out of the box, doing all the process to get it from 0 to hero, right? And it also, there's multiple calls that cover very specific things after that unboxing process. So there's only new Healy for beginners and beyond calls when new modalities or apps, like when the Mag Healy comes up, we'll be doing a new Healy for beginners and beyond about the Mag Healy. So again, all those are hyperlinked, so you can just share the content that's relevant to you. All that is on the YouTube page. What else? The Telegram group is it's an admin output only. So in other words, you won't be able to make a comment there. So you're not going to get a ton of notifications. How many of you guys are in like a lot of different groups, right? I'm not going to tell you how many I'm in, but I get like a lot of notifications every day. And so this Telegram group is not going to do that for you. It's only going to give you a notification when relevant content is posted by the mastermind team, myself, Doc Steve, or Terry. So, and it's going to be stuff that's necessary for you to know. So there's your resources. Plug into those resources, get on board. I get reports on how many people are joining, who's joining. So I expect to see your name. in that group that you've joined. And I'm going to also look for where it says, it's going to say Ashley invited so-and-so. And it's going to say, Brittany invited so-and-so. It's good.
All right, I'm on it.
It tells me. So I get it. When somebody says, oh yeah, I invited him, I'm like, guess what? I did not see that notification. So I know, but it's fun. It's a great group. So don't discount its value. What else?
Oh no, course, I'm over here inviting people.
Now, here's another thing that we are very diligent about monitoring that group for spammers. So here's the requirement for being part of that group. Your Telegram identification cannot say ABC123. It can't be a handle. We'll kick you out. I'm sorry. I love you anyway if you're legit. But the point is, we get a lot of people that are spammers and they just use some handle instead of their name. And it's important that we know who's in there, because this technically the group is made for USA members only. But hey, Mark, you know what? We got a lot of folks from all over the world in there. Why? Because it's relevant. It's training. It's stuff that they want to share with their teams that doesn't come from anywhere else. So you're welcome there. Just make sure that you've got a pertinent name. Okay. Myself and Doc Steve are the ones that usually kick people out. He's a little more, he's a little less lenient than me, but yeah, and we are able to go back and look at the analytics of that group as to how many people are joining. We watch that algorithm. When there's spikes, then we take a look very closely at who's being added, because we want to make sure that they're not spammers. We want to protect you. That's the cool thing about it. We want to make sure we're protecting you. That's important to us. I'm sure it's important to you. So, so there's the things about our resources. If you're not familiar with Telegram, when you go to any group or any Telegram chat, if you go to the top of the page, if you're on your mobile device and you click on the banner at the top, the label, the description, whatever, the name of the group, you click on that. It opens a window that gives you the opportunity to search. That little magnifying glass icon. You click on that, and then you're able to put a keyword in there. So let's just say you put the keyword in Tech Tip Tuesday, or just tech. Everything relative to the word tech will pop up in your search. I mean, this is for the entire life of the group. All right. This is how it's a great tool to be able to understand how to dig in and find things quickly. This kind of stuff, these little tips, these little hacks, these are what make a great leader even greater. Okay. Same thing is relative to the YouTube page. If you go to the YouTube page and you search for, say, battery, it's going to show content relative to that search word. Now, if you go to Google and Google the word battery, what do you think you're going to get? Not Healy stuff, right? You're going to get like a million hits for battery. So I don't ever recommend people to go to Google and search for Healy battery. Go to the YouTube page itself. Go to YouTube as a web page and just search Healy battery, and you'll get a much more refined result. Okay, make sense? All right. So that's what I wanted to share in terms of resources. I am wide open, my friends, for anything that you would like to ask me. I'm on a mobile device, so maybe Ashley, if you could help me field the chat, and I would be happy to be here for you.
Yes, me, Mark, Britt. Who's got questions?
You know, there was something that I wanted to open up in terms of the dietitians, and
oh yeah,
you know, we are, and especially, you know, like what Stephanie said, you know, integrating within your current practice. As we're building a network marketing business, the number one key factor in terms of building a network marketing business is this understanding. understand that you have a license to practice the company. And so your business is only going to be relative to you. We need to bring us to the table, our talents, our background, our personalities. We need to bring us to the table and not try to do it like somebody else does it. There's no one in the world that's going to hear your voice unless it comes from you. And so this is why our business is built so personally. And network marketing is exactly that. It's a personal business that you have a license to a multi-million-dollar organization. And we're moving to $1 billion organization in 5 years. 5 years. All right. So how big of a piece of that pie do you want? If you're going to build $1 million organization within your own income stream, then it means that you've got to be the diligent leader and the individual that demographic of the world can hear. Like, you can't say the wrong thing to the right person, like I said. So, but there's only certain people that can hear my voice, right? And the people that hear my voice may not relate to Ashley, but the people who relate with Ashley are diligent and they won't hear mine. Okay, we can work together in partnership, but the uniqueness of us needs to come to the table. Does that make sense? Right? That's how we build a business. So when it comes to, say, nutrition, and we work in a 3-dimensional space, but the building of the body comes from a consciousness. It comes from the information field. This is where the Healy taps in. Healy is that bridge. Write this down. The Healy is the bridge between the quantum field of information and the biological and physical fields of matter. It's the bridge.
You're gonna have to repeat that.
So Healy is the bridge.
And slowly.
Between
Mark, maybe you can type it in.
So Healy is the bridge. And you saw Christian Dorner do a presentation, and he talks about a bridge, right? This is synergy. So Healy is the bridge between the quantum field of information and the biological and physical fields of matter. That's this little tool that we have right here. And the way that bridge,
that's crazy.
the way that bridge operates is through resonance. Through resonance. Under this shirt, I've got a t-shirt on that says resonance. And there's so many things that have been resonant with me today. And you'll find them if you look for them within yourselves in your day. But resonance is how, when two musical instruments play a tune that is like, or say one instrument plays a tune, another instrument in the same space starts to vibrate. So if you were to take two guitars, I offer this opportunity to challenge you to try this out. If you had two guitars tuned to the same frequency, the same tuning. Now they need to be within the same octave. So you take two guitars, you put them next to each other in a room that's semi-sealed, not a lot of outside influence. You play, say, the G chord on one guitar. You watch the G chord on the other guitar will start to vibrate. There is no mechanical influence. It's resonance. And I hear people say, I'm going to play the G string. I don't use the G string because that maybe thinks about some kind of, you know what a G string is, right? So we don't, but I was listening to Carolyn McMakin talking about in her book. She has a book about resonance, and she talks about the G string, not the underwear, but the string on the instrument. So I love that resonance. And So this is what allows us the belief, the trust that Healy will not give us what we don't need. It's only going to resonate with this body, with its proximity, with its connection, whoever it's connected to. So that's the way that Healy works. Hope everybody got that down. Some people understand that, some will not. But I think you can probably elaborate on that description so that it fits whoever you're speaking to. Does that make sense? Yeah. All right.
Thank you, Ken.
Yeah, you know what? I'm looking at my notes from when I met you. It says Ken mic drops, and then Ken talks right there. That was the first time we ever. Actually, that was the second and the first time we ever met. I didn't have a pen and paper, and I was like, shit. But something that unless anyone jumps in with a question, I think that I had some questions that you guys would all really benefit from. So I'm gonna ask. How do you decide on the intensity and when you're doing a microcurrent program? That was really helpful.
So you guys, so you said something, Ashley, and in regards to what Mark was talking about, the black line. Right?
Oh no.
You know, you got the black line. What's that mean? You hear me?
I can kind of hear you, but you're frozen.
There
you
frozen,
are.
But you can still hear my audio. Is that okay? Okay. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go off camera so you can maybe hear my voice better. That way it consumes less bandwidth in the camera. As long as you can hear my voice, is that okay?
Yep.
Yes. Can you hear me? Can you hear my voice?
Yep.
Okay. All right. So in regards to intensity.
Oh shoot. No, you're going out again.
App offers us the opportunity to increase intensity. What does that mean? Intensity is essentially the amplitude of the signal. So let's go to a pond for a minute, a pond of water, and you pick up a little tiny pebble off the shore and you drop that little tiny pebble into the water, okay? And it makes a ripple effect. Then you take a great big boulder and you drop that big boulder into the pond and it makes a ripple effect, okay? So the frequency between the ripples, between the pebble and the boulder are relative to the medium or the water. So they're pretty much the same, but the amplitude, right? The amplitude, the size of the wave.
That was Mercury retrograde.
From pebble versus stone, the big boulder are completely different, right? I mean,
oh, Ken, we cannot hear you. Devin said, "Stop being a big."
Visualize.
Ken, we can't. Ken, you're like speeding up, like your voice is like speeding up so much. I don't know what's going on there. Yeah, it's like we don't hear anything, and then all of a sudden you're like fast forwarded. Uh-oh. Maybe the universe is giving us all a second so we can take in all of the information. It's a lot, right?
Well, when he was talking, it was kind of making me think of the sound effects on sand and vibrations and water, and how you can see a stream of water will all of a sudden be a swirl or a zigzag. And, like the sand, when the vibrations, it makes a beautiful geometric design, and then they change the sound waves and it creates another design. That's just fascinating to me. So I kind of think of like the frequencies as something like that. Hopefully
totally.
He'll come back on,
Totally. Yeah, he'll come back on. Semantics. That was hilarious. And I probably should have taken off my video when I was like dying of laughter, but I didn't. So it is what it is.
We should
But-
find some of those pictures of the water and ice where they did those experiences with like
Yeah.
saying love or hate and like seeing the different, because I think that visual is like so powerful, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
it's so simple. That's actually how I've described the Healy to a couple people, just like in layman's terms about like frequency hertz and things like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Just so he's gonna pop back on, I'm sure, but just so everyone, just so I don't forget, if you're in the PA area, and if you know anyone in the PA area, Delaware, Maryland area, even Washington, DC, although Heather, I know you can't come, Taryn and Sarah are going to be here. And at this point in time, we're concerned that we might not have enough room. That's how many people we have coming. So it doesn't matter the right amount of people will, I know, I wish we could get Ken to PA too. We will at some point, but if you can make it, come. And if you're planning on coming and bringing people, just let us know. I know, Mark, we want you to come too. Just let us know so we can have a head count. But it's really exciting. It's really exciting. Yeah, Mia?
I'll be there.
Cool.
Confirmed.
Awesome. Yeah. And then, so at that event, I know, Rita, at some point we will all get together, but at that event, we're also going to launch the Solstice Sync Up, which we will be doing the pre-launch event this coming Tuesday. And I was supposed to be working on just this week, but then the whole Taryn thing happened. So I've switched gears, but we will be doing a pre-launch event this Tuesday night at 8:00. I think it's the 24th. And what that's going to be is all of the speakers and presenters that are going to be doing a sharing on the solstice are going to be on that call. And we're just going to give an introduction of what the program actually is. And then each speaker is going to have 5 to 10 minutes just to talk about, introduce themselves and then talk about what they're going to be doing that day. We're going to record it, obviously, so we can send it out. But if you have anybody who you think would be interested, it's an awesome opportunity just to get on and hear from amazing people. I mean, we just have like so many amazing people in this tribe, and not even just in this tribe, but within the Healy network. And so this is an excellent way to leverage this event. So we'll be doing that. We'll be launching that the Sunday, and also Tuesday will be a Zoom call. It's the same Zoom link. And
Ashley,
yes.
did you say that's going to be in the morning, starting in the morning or at night?
What? The pre-launch? The pre-launch? The pre-launch will be at 8 p.m. this Tuesday night.
I thought it was starting, the whole thing was starting Tuesday morning.
It is. This is just a pre-launch. This is just, we're just telling people about it. We're start marketing it. The event doesn't start, the Solstice Sync Up isn't until the solstice, which is June 21st. But we want to start getting the word out.
Oh, okay.
And you want to know something that is so cool? So I'm going back and I'm rewatching all of the cheat codes, because that's what we'll be going through. And I'm taking like diligent notes so we can, so I can hand them out like every week when we go over it. And the one that I was just watching today was on water, and Taryn and Max and Dr. Michelle Patrick were literally talking about, you know what we should do? We should really do like focus on one element and one organ group a week. And we should do it collectively. And I was like, I'm doing that. We're doing that. So it's really, really cool. I imagine, because like Taryn, we're going to tell her about it. Maybe she's going to end up blowing it up and getting other people on. So it's just very exciting. I feel like a lot of magic is happening right now. And actually, until Ken hops back on, Mark, do you want to do a little wave spell action?
What's that?
Hey.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure. All right. We can use some magic. It's very appropriate. Very, very
Yeah,
appropriate for everything that's happening. So, sorry, Ken's right here.
Oh, he is?
Ken's right here. He just came in. Yeah, I'll do a real quick wave spell spin while Ken's getting his feet back in the ground.
Okay.
We got you, Ken?
Sorry, you guys.
It's okay. It's all
Oh my
good.
goodness. Yeah. Well, I piggybacked. So I'm kind of borrowing this bar's Wi-Fi.
It's all good. It's all
Yeah,
good. Mark was just gonna tell us a quick, do you know anything about the wave spells, Ken?
Wave spells? No, tell
My-
us, Mark.
Mayan wave
The-
spells?
The Mayan dream spell, Ken. You know the Mayan dream
No.
spell?
Tell me.
Oh, I just
something-
told Ken about his human design. He is a manifester, everyone. He did not know.
Of course he is.
I didn't know.
Awesome. I'll do it real quick because Ken, we want to make sure you're getting all the time here and giving us your gold. But what I'll share it real quick because it's really relevant. So Ken, I've been doing these Mayan dream spell, wave spell reports, something I've worked with for over 13 years now. And it's basically the Mayans tracked the evolution of consciousness moving through the collective. So it's not connected to astrology and things, but more to Sirius and the star systems and the way it flows through. But when you put the cosmic aside, it's a great framework for storytelling to kind of connect to and to move through and to perceive things through. And what's really magical is in America, you are actually in the final day of a 260-day birthing cycle. So it runs in 260-day cycles, and you're closing off one and opening up another. Actually, sorry, you're in the beginning. So it's red magnetic dragon in the Mayan dream spell over in America right now. And that means it's the very first day where we begin over these next 13 days to attract the purpose of what are we giving birth to for the next 9 months. You know, it's like the gestation cycle. So all of us being here today is actually very powerful for anchoring what we're all working on. What are we giving birth to? What's the word? Conception. What are we conceiving today together? And so over these next 2 weeks, essentially 13 days, it's a good time to really, just like a birthing mother, connect to your child, you know, really feel in your belly. What are you giving birth to? What is it you want to give your energy to for this next 9 months? And I think we can all feel that, you know, it's not something we're deciding mentally. It's, you know, like a mother doesn't decide what the child is like in the belly. In the same way that we're all here feeling something birthing together in all of us. The fact that we've all come together, that Ken, I get to be here in a call with you after 2 years, there's magic birthing. And so really feeling that, connecting to that, not rushing forwards, trying to get that baby out tomorrow, but, you know, really following that birthing rhythm, you know, and allow that to come. And so that's going to evolve over these next 9 months. So whatever we really feel coming in now, you know, really feel that as that inspiration. So that's the weather report, as I like to call them, Ken. Now I'll pass it back to you.
Oh my God, that was amazing, Mark. So synchronistic, so exciting.
That was so good. Thank you, Mark.
So good. Okay, Ken, the last thing we heard was we're talking about intensity, and you were saying something about throwing something in the water, but maybe you just want to start from the beginning.
Okay, yeah. So thank you for that, Mark. I'm actually in the small town in which I grew up as a boy. So I'm actually where I'm at right now demographically fits to where this new birth thing is happening. I'm like, of course it does. Of course it does, right? It, you know, when we're tapped in, tuned up and turned on, and everything we do winds up being purposeful. So just keep that going within yourselves. So we're talking about intensity. I use the analogy of a pebble in a pond. If you take a little tiny pebble, drop it in a pond, it makes a ripple, right? You take a big boulder, drop it in the pond, it makes a ripple. One ripple has a higher amplitude, a bigger wave than the other, but the frequency is the same based on the medium, the water itself in which it's transmitting through. So you've got the same kind of ripple, but the amplitude is higher. So the frequencies that we're sending out through the pink dot, the microcurrent frequencies, have a very specific signal to them, but sometimes they need a more higher amplitude to get them into your body. And typically frequencies below about 400 hertz need a higher intensity. And this is the reason why that adjustability was built into the app, built into the program, because Healy knows that there are certain frequencies that need more punch, that need more push. And the body is going to be the resistance to it. And I don't like the word resistance. It's just that it's just the marriage between the frequency and the matter, the mass of the body, what we call the particle, right? It needs a little more push to get through it. So when you see a black line, what I always tell folks, look, when you're using the Pink Dot app and you're brand new, you need to start doing a little bit of feeling into it. Crank that amplitude up until you can start to feel it, the sensation in your body, right? And then crank it down one notch, but pay close attention to the frequencies being transmitted in that moment. Because you'll notice every 8 seconds, there's a new frequency, because it's doing its resonance checks and balances with your body. So when you see those frequencies drop down to under 400 hertz, you may see the black line. So crank the amplitude up based on those lower frequencies and then leave them there. So when I say crank them up, you're going to crank them up to where you can feel them, or at least so there's no black line. And then try bouncing them down just one notch and see if you still get the white line and the black line. This is individual to you. I can't really tell you that 50% is the sweet spot for this program. That's not true. It's going to be different. There's a different sweet spot for each one of us and for each program. So you'll get to know your Healy, and your Healy gets to know you over time. So does that make sense? That's what you do, right? That's a mechanical interface that you do with yourself. Of course, you're going to make sure that the wristbands, that they're hydrated. You're going to make sure that the body is hydrated. You're also going to make sure, the one last thing that I've had the biggest struggle with some people that are super analytical, and these engineering scientist minds out there, I'm talking to you. When we internally have a resistance, a doubt, skepticism, right? And we navigate our life like that. It creates a closure. It creates a dimming down of our pathways within our body. Okay, so we need to internally, if we got the hydration proper on the we got our conduction gel or water or whatever on the wristbands, we've got our internal body is good and hydrated, but we still get a black line and we're at 100%. Guess what? I would say we need to look at our own internal state and find out, are we allowing? Are we on board with that law of allowing? I had a couple of people that I had to tell them, in a very kind and loving way, that you've got to get out of your own way. You've got to surrender to this possibility of your own healing, right? Too many people rehearse their illness, rehearse their limit, and it becomes a part of their personality. And no matter what you offer them, you can give them the best diet, you dietitians out there, you can give them the best training protocol, you fitness buffs out there, you can give them the Healy, and they're still not going to upregulate that body beyond their own internal limits, right? So it just won't happen. So that's just one of the things about the amplitudes. Does that help? Does that make sense?
Makes sense.
And Ken, I agree 100%.
Okay.
I teach the exact same thing. I teach them how to do the inside work first. In fact, my program is called Feel Better, Eat Better, because when you feel better and do that internal work, it's the most important thing. So yay, that was so good.
So our body, when it becomes stressed for any reason, justified or not, rehearsed or not, personality trait or not, any reason that sways the vagal tone into a suggestion of the sympathetic nervous system, that fight or flight mechanism, the moment that happens, now I'm not saying it's always going to be 100%, but any degree from 0.1% to 100% in the stress response, you're going to have an influence on three main, what's called non-essential systems when you're in that response. Non-essential systems. There's three of them. So if you're in the stress response, the sympathetic nervous system, number one non-essential system when you're in fight or flight is digestion. The number one, right? Your body's not able to digest when your thoughts or your beliefs are that you're running for your life. You know, T-Rex is chasing you. Remember, once upon a time, we were both predator and prey. That brain is still there. The limbic brain is still there. That prehistoric brain, still there, still guiding the ship, right? That's that subconscious response. So number two, non-essential system, when you're in stress response, is immune. It doesn't matter. You don't need to be immune to a bug, or you don't have to worry about bacteria when you're running for your life, right? Immune system is shut down. Number three, reproduction. Folks, I'm going to tell you, folks that are trying to make a baby or create a family, and you're just living day to day by the budget of your paycheck, or you're stressed in your job, or whatever's going on within the internal state, that stress response lowers not only the libido, but the body's desire to reproduce. That reproductive system is downregulated. I'm not saying it's off. I'm not saying that you can't practice. I'm just saying it's downregulated. I mean, you know, there's a stress release to that kind of action, right? But it doesn't mean you're going to make a baby with the action, because it's not harmonious, right? In the moment. So three non-essential systems, and they are downregulated to the degree in which you're in that response. Now I'm going to give you a hack. I'm going to give you a little hack. There's some background noise from somebody's mic. I'm not sure whose. Sounds like a cricket out there. But I'm going to give you a hack, and many of you guys already know this. But the hack, that when you are in stress response, or even if you don't know for sure, you know what's interesting? 80% of people that are in stress response think they're not. 80% of people that are in stress response think that they're not. But when they're measured biologically, that the chemical expression of stress is present. I mean, wow. So here's your hack. We can all control the vagal tone by our breath system. And the body needs a very distinct breath pattern for us to be in stress response. It needs a short, quick, and shallow breath. Now, I want you guys to just reach up and touch your collarbones for a second. Reach those there's your collarbones. Now reach down and find the lower portion of the last rib. Find that lower portion of the last rib down there. All right, you feel that? Now, between those two places, that's how big your lungs are. That's how big your lungs are. I want you to breathe as big as your lungs. If you breathe as big as your lungs, the body cannot be in stress response. That low, big, full breath, it negates the stress response. It negates the vagal tone that would allow that sympathetic nervous system to engage. So there's your hack. And it doesn't require you to be a guru or have a PhD or be male or female, doesn't matter. Just breathe, right? Okay. Does that help?
Yeah, so amazing. Thank you, Ken. I have a question here from Megan. What if you're using the coil and don't necessarily feel the tingles even at 100?
And you won't. And here's why. The coil is a whole different modality, a whole different animal. The microcurrent is sending a very distinct electrical charge to the body. And that's why you have a wristband on one side and a wristband on the other, or a sticky pad on one spot and a sticky pad on the other. It's because there's current, there's electron flow from point A to point B, from one wire through the body, all the way back through the other wire, back to the healing. It's electron flow. That's why it's called microcurrent. Current flow is in the form of electrons. When one electron jumps to the next valence band of the next molecule, and that's flow, right? Our body is a conductor. The conduction system within our body is water and the minerals. That's how our body is conductive. It's also, because it is a conductor, the body, because it's a conductor, it's also an antenna. So any metallic material or any conductive material, like for instance, the antenna on your car, okay, it's metallic. It's made of some material that can induce a current flow. So our body's the same way. It's a big antenna. And so when the radio station up there on the hill, wherever you live, and that big antenna that's up there standing up, when that radio station, the DJ keys the mic and says words and then turns on the music, that signal, that content, that information is turned into current, into electron flow, and it's sent up the antenna. And anytime you have electron flow up a conductor, it emits a magnetic wave. This is called EMF. You ever heard that term? Most people are afraid of that term. It's called electromagnetic force. It's a wave propagated from this electron flow up the antenna. And so this is how the DJ and the radio station and all the hardware and electronics sends the signal from their content through the hardware and electronics out into the world. It's out of the antenna. It's through electron flow. And when there's electron flow up the antenna, every time you have electron flow, when an electron moves from one molecule to another, it emits a magnetic signal. And so now check it out. We've got electron flow up an antenna, emitting a magnetic wave out of the antenna, and the amplitude or the strength of that signal determines the range or how far it will go. Okay, so this is relevant. I'm going to circle back to this. So the amplitude of the signal determines how far it will go. So now there's a magnetic wave that's coming out of that antenna and it's going out in the world omnidirectionally, everywhere. And you're driving down the road, you turn your radio on, you tune it to 105.7, and it just happens to align with those magnetic waves, and it gets decoded in the antenna, and your radio plays whatever music you're playing or whatever the DJ said. Now, there's lots of radio stations out there, and there's several antennas, and so they're sending out lots of magnetic waves. So how does your car or your radio only pick up the one? It's because you tuned it very specifically to the station, the frequency that you want to receive. So now let's correlate all that over to Healy. The frequency that's coming out of the Healy is going through the coil. And when you have electron flow through a conductor, that's what's going on. Instead of it going through the body, we've got it going through our wristbands, through the body, but instead it's going through a coil. And when you have electron flow through a conductor, like I said, the wire is a conductor. What happens? Magnetic wave, right? And what's on that magnetic wave? Information. What information? The frequency being sent from Healy. The purpose of the program. The frequencies are being sent out, decoded through the coil, and sent out in a magnetic wave. Now we have, again, magnetic waves going out into the world omnidirectionally, everywhere from the Healy. And guess what? You're the antenna. You're this body of water. You're this body of minerals. And when that wave comes across your body, the information is decoded in the cells and the body itself. You follow me? Right? No different. No different than the radio station and that propagation of transferring current flow into magnetics back into current flow. So the radio can decode the information. Same thing. The Healy is doing exactly the same thing. So when you crank the amplitude up to 100%, you're just increasing the amplitude of the wave, right? You're increasing the range in which the Healy will transmit the signal. That's it. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Or did I lose you guys?
And mic drop again. That definitely makes sense. Thank you. I have another question. Do we have you? Are you okay to talk a little bit more?
I am all yours, people. I love you, and my heart is wide open. Remember,
Aw.
I'm on the West Coast. To me,
Oh.
and I'm actually in the Mountain Time Zone, so it's only 7:25 for me.
Okay, sweet. Mark has to go. Bye, Mark. We'll see you on Tuesday night.
Bye, Mark. Thank you
Yeah,
for
it's
your
been really
value,
good seeing
brother.
you all. Hey, Ken, I'm looking forward to meeting you in person. I'll be coming tracking over as soon as I can. And yeah, thanks everyone. There's a couple I'm just throwing a few messages to in the back end here, and then I'm going to jump off. I've got to go homeschool my boy. So when I sneak off, otherwise I'll listen to the last 5 minutes.
Okay, cool.
And Ashley, I'll come every week now to this meeting. I love you guys. So I'll be getting up early for y'all.
Yay. Thank you. Ooh, that means Mayan wave spells every week. Yay. Okay, the next question is really interesting. And somebody, actually 2 people now have had this where they receive the microcurrent, and then after they are done receiving the microcurrent, like even like days after, they have like buzzing in their hands. Is that something that you know anything about?
Yeah, so every time that we infuse a signal into the body, there's certain aspects of us that upregulate instantly. So our nervous system is one of those that can process a new frequency very quickly. But the biology, the cell structure, the tissues, the muscles, the organs, the cells, they take a little more time. And so it's not unlikely that when we implement, well, first of all, if you ever read a book and then you get this cool knowledge and then you go out into your world and all of a sudden you see relevance from the content of the book showing up in your world, right? That's an upregulation of information or knowledge in the brain. So we're doing the same thing when we are sending current flow into the body or even magnetic energy into the body. We're putting content that shifts the nervous system or the electrical fields of the body almost instantly. And so people are getting results from that right away. But the biology, the 3-dimensional content of the body, I call it our organic suit, right? It takes a little bit longer to change its state. Okay. So you could have, I'll liken it to some of the spiritual work I've done with Dr. Joe. Oh my gosh. It's crazy in how much shows up like a week later or 10 days later or even a month later, that something goes on and the body changes. But the nervous system is upregulated in a second. So give yourself time, feeling these tinglies, even feeling the result is important. Now, I'm also going to say there's another thing to pay attention to. Don't use your Healy 7 days a week. Okay. Give your body a break. How do you know if you're detoxing, upregulating, or just in a bad mood, right? How do you know? You need to take a little, it's called hedonic calendaring. Hedonic calendaring is a process of scheduling time in which you don't do your normal processes. Maybe you take a break from your yoga, you take a break from your martial arts, you take a break from your Healy, you take a break from even your regiment around your diet. You take a break, give yourself some love, right? And maybe those are your days of intermittent fasting or whatever it is. But the point is you're taking a break from all this other stuff. And I like to use at least 1 day a week of that, and then come back the next day and find out, what am I experiencing? Does that make sense?
Definitely. So got more questions. Going back.
Can I ask a follow-up to that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Ken, how many programs a day do you do when you do them? If it's not your day off.
Okay. perhaps an unfair question. I'm an experiment. I'm I guess you might call a next level seeker. So I'm constantly trying to move into another level. And so I have been doing this for over 2.5 years, and I will run an enormous amount of programs. I will discharge an entire battery on a Healy on myself in one day easily.
Okay.
And but I also, don't get me wrong, I am super aware of almost every cell. I can feel them. And so I keep a very high level of communication, and an awareness of my body. And so, and I do use the blue dot for some analysis so that I can have an objective observer and get me out of the way, right? But I also do a lot of intuitive work as to what programs to run. So I do a lot. I mean, I will discharge a battery pretty easy.
Yeah, but how much should
And,
not Kens do? People who are
so
not you.
the corporate recommendation, the safe zone, is 3 programs a day. That's the safe zone. Now, that's just something, when you get started, I say stay within that safe zone. In fact, I say do 1 program. Just do 1, and do it from the Gold Cycle page. Start with the Gold Cycle page. They were all designed by Nuno Nina to fit every human, and just intuitively see what's on there. Do I feel like I need some energy? Run the energy program. Pure, what's pure mean? Well, we have our own understanding and belief about what pure means, right? Relax. Well, what's that mean? Well, use your knowledge. Come on, everybody is a genius here. Believe in yourself, believe in your genius, and look at which one resonates with you, and run. I say run 1 program every day for 7 days. That's why there's 7 programs on there, by the way. Run a different one from the Gold Cycle every day for the first week. Now you're ready to fly. After you do that, you're ready to fly. And then boost it up to 3. See how you feel. Write things down. If you don't know, I mean, somebody asked me what I had for dinner yesterday. I could tell you, but not everybody really pays attention to that. So make sure that you're keeping track of your body. Sometimes we're just in a bad mood, or we feel just like super anxious or super fearful or something. If you've run the Pure program and all of a sudden that night you're sitting on the toilet, I mean, there's some impurities coming out of you, right? Or if there's a psychological thing and you're just weeping, you're crying it out, you're like, what's wrong with me? Am I PMSing or what? No, you could just be detoxing some of the emotional baggage that your body's trying to purify. Just pay attention to that.
When you say the 3 is the safe zone, is there a danger zone?
Well, let's define danger. It's, danger is stepping out in front of a freight train and getting smashed into pieces, right? That's a big danger. But overloading on frequency, the biggest danger you're going to experience is discomfort. You won't die. I promise. Now, what's discomfort? Well, you might have some, have you ever experienced detox symptoms? A deep tissue massage, you didn't hydrate properly, some sort of a intermittent fasting process that you're not taking care of yourself, your self-care protocols falling apart. What's it feel like? It doesn't feel good. Muscle pain, cramps, headaches, side effects, those kind of things. That's pretty much the worst case scenario.
Are those indications that you should slow down and take a break, or are those something that you work through and you become better to withstand, I guess?
Yeah. So you're talking to Ken now, remember? So I'm going to give you my opinion from a performance junkie perspective. Okay. And that performance junkie perspective means that the moment that you experience something, you know you can go further, right? The moment you overcome something, you know you've now found a new threshold for expansion. So yes, if you've gotten experience, you've done 3 programs or whatever, and you're feeling this maybe discomfort or whatever's going on, and you didn't die, right? You won't, but you get on the other side of it. The moment you're on the other side of it, you've got a new level of possibility and accomplishment. And now the threshold has been moved. And so now you'll go, okay, I can do 3, I can do 4, I can do whatever. So yes, pay attention. If you're the mindset or the consciousness that can handle a bumpy road, then dive in. But if you're the consciousness that needs a bit of a padded suspension, then back off, right?
I love it. I love
yeah.
that description. I'm definitely gonna go for the gold.
We've got a couple more good questions here. Mia wants to know, do you recommend running the same programs for a few days in a row and then take a break and maybe do a different program? And and that could even be related to like a program, like if you're trying to detox your liver, like you could do liver pure, like all of that.
Yeah, absolutely. There are coherent programs that partner together, right? That work together synergistically. And so definitely look at what you feel like is synergistic in their descriptions, and try not to read more into it, but also don't discount that they're just plain. So pure, we're going to talk about that for a moment, because pure, it's not just body. If you're struggling with your thoughts, and I ask this question when I start to coach people, I ask this question, I say, look, do you struggle more with the thoughts in your mind or the emotional feelings in the body? And when they give me their answer, then I recommend a specific training protocol, essentially a book. And it's because it's going to open and deepen their understanding about whatever their answer was. So, so when we are running the pure program, remember, it's not going to just purify the body. If you're struggling with things and thoughts in your mind, it's going to help purify some of that, down-regulate its influence. So these programs do multifaceted things. And when you combine them, they're going to be, synergistic. Remember what you do when you're connecting to yourself with the wristbands, or you're running the resonance vibrate mode, it's building exactly that word, resonance, with you. So it's reading you. Healy is the only system that asks permission of the body. Write that down. I was in Miami in January at the biohacking conference. Tons and tons of amazing technology. And I was invited to be a guest speaker there. And I was part of the Healy group. And I went around and looked at all the products. Great stuff. But everything is give, right? It's either limited to a specific frequency that the operator chooses or the client chooses, or it's just one frequency for all. And folks, there is not one frequency for Ken that's going to fit the same receptor sites as what Ashley needs, right? Or what any of us need. So there's not. And so Healy asks permission of the body and then finds resonance with that entity, that only that body, and then gives what is necessary. So every one of these programs are doing exactly that. If you're looking at detox, maybe pure, you're looking at liver, you're looking at all that, it's going to find resonance within the protocol of that program for your body only, and then do its job.
That's awesome. That kind of goes into the next question that John has, which is, and I don't understand this either. So we understand how microcurrents are fed into the body and or out of the device and into the body, but we don't understand how it receives the information and reads with the accuracy it does.
I love this. I love this. You guys ready to go to quantum physics school? I love this. I hinted on it. I actually didn't hint on it. I actually described it in detail. It's the electron flow. So one electron, every cell has millions of electrons. Your body is 100 trillion cells. Well, it's anywhere from 80 to 120 trillion cells. And the body is reorganizing itself to the tune of 800,000 cells per second. And then each cell has an enormous amount of electrons in it. Okay. So I want you to start getting down to the tiny, and then the tiny, and then the tiny. I want you to shrink down to the tiny with me for a minute and look at life from the electron. The electron is part of a molecule. A molecule is part of a cell. Cell's part of a system. System's part of an organism. Now we're going to go back to the molecule, because the molecule's got all these electrons, right? It's just energy. It's energy, and each electron has information, and it trades information with other electrons. So this is happening at the speed of light, folks. It's like one of these things that's hard to fathom. Okay, we've got a bunch of electrons, and you know, it's like, okay, they're taking a coffee break sometimes on me because I don't think they're working, whatever the case is. These electrons it's the information field. And so when Healy puts out a frequency, it piggybacks it on top of microcurrent. In other words, the microcurrent is pulsed very distinctly at the frequency that's being transmitted by the program. It's going through the body at that same pulse. It's information, it's electrons. Remember what I said, when you have electron flow up an antenna, it creates a magnetic field. Or when you have electron flow through the body, right? That electron flow through the body is containing information. And that information is transferred into the cells. And this is what aligns the body. So the electron field is tapped in to other electrons. And everything from the seat you're sitting on to the skin cell has electrons in it. And this is the quantum field. This is where the field starts to interface. This is where matter and energy interface is on that electron field. And Healy, this little device, has a quantum sensor that essentially is the bridge I kind of mentioned to you earlier, in which electrons jump this bridge. And when they jump that bridge, they're exposed to the environment. And the environment piggybacks content onto the results. And so now we're interfacing at that electron field with the body. So it's a very, very small, but very fast operating system. That I don't know. I may have lost some of you guys, but
no, that answers my question. I asked the question. I got just one, because we could probably talk about this for hours and I won't go too deep into it. But so when you do that scan that like brings back, so it says like, oh, I'm having a problem with, my relationships today, or, money or something, it gives you that list. Is there like a consciousness database that Healy's created that connects with that field to provide that information? Like, where does that information come from?
So if we look at in electronics, there are systems called random generators. Okay, random. The quantum sensors actually electronically is defined as a random noise generator, and a random generator. The word random would give us the perception that it's not logical, that it's just chaotic, right? But our consciousness, the output of our thoughts, is a magnetic field that goes out into the world. How many of you guys know somebody who says, I'm just not techie, and everything they touch breaks? Every electronic thing doesn't work. How many people? You know anybody like that? even their computer starts to have failures all the time, right? So this is because their consciousness, the thought process, the energy that's being emitted by the brain, the electrical field is being transmitted in a magnetic way and is being received by the circuitry of every electronic device around, just like the antenna, sending the signal from the radio station, the DJ's voice and the music, it's going out into a magnetic wave. Everything's picking it up, everything. Your computer, your smartphone, everything that's got a conductor in it. And your smartphone's got lots of wires in it. They're conductors, they're picking up that same magnetic wave. But it's either contributory or it's not. And so when we're sending out thought that I'm not technical, everything breaks. That thought goes out and brings validation and proof that that's true. It interfaces with the processor of your computer and changes things, just sways it over to the side of failure as opposed to possibility. So same thing Healy does. Healy is using a random noise generator. And when you choose a database, there's a whole bunch of content in there. The content is fixed, but your influence from a consciousness is not. And so the random noise generator searches all of that content in an instant, the speed of light. And your signal from your consciousness, from the client that you put into the analysis, the client, which is you or whoever it is, that content is weighing the results to favor the needs of that person. It's changing the random output into being consciousness influenced. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it just over my head how they measured that to return with the appropriate information, unless they just scanned somebody thinking, or it blows my mind because it is pretty accurate. We've done it. Devin's my girlfriend. She introduced me to this stuff, so I'm kind of new to it. But she did a scan a couple times, and just for both of us, it was scary how accurate it was, I guess, on some of these things. But it's just, I guess I understand how it's working. It's just, I guess the engineering is blowing my mind a little bit.
So the way it's engineered is there are logic circuits that, again, work at the speed of light. And we can put an enormous amount of logic circuits within one little integrated chip, silicon. And you have a consciousness that is influencing the analysis engine. It runs through all of that content in an instant, and the logic circuit kicks each one of those out. It's called so if yes, then put it in the routine. If no, then put it out of the routine. It's a logic circuit that operates at the speed of light. It's a lot of things going on at once, but literally it's very limited. It's either yes or no, yes or no, yes or no. That's it. It's very logical. So there's no subjective interface. It's all objective. So if you had, a billion bits of information and you went in there with one particular energetic request for one bit, it could analyze that entire group and find that one bit and pull it in. This is how logic circuits and digital electronics work. And so they're just using consciousness as a sway or an influence on the results, the generator that generates the results. It's all done logically. It's like a whole bunch of little, like a combination lock that's spinning a whole bunch of them at once, and then only a certain result will lock in and open the lock. And that's what you're getting. You're getting the open information, your analysis, and the fact that it's hauntingly accurate is because it's your consciousness that's the interface portal. It's awesome.
Yeah, I think it seems like advanced, like almost like machine learning in a way. But it's wild stuff. It's very cool. I'll keep asking questions, but I won't hog the show. So I do appreciate that. Thank you.
I'm sure, John, I feel like you and I could probably have a conversation, over dinner for like days.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I'd sit there. I would talk for hours for sure. 100%. Hours to days to weeks probably is how it would turn into.
Well, you gotta come to PA. We gotta have a PA party.
Oh yeah. I've
Yeah,
been in
come
the
on out.
medical field 30 years. I totally, you are speaking my language. It is like right on point. I'm like, yep, he's right. Yep, he's right. Everything you've been saying, I'm like, he's 100% accurate. And I went to school for this stuff, so I get it completely.
No, it's awesome. It is fascinating. I feel like that's just like the tip of the iceberg too. I feel like there's so much that goes into this.
Well, when it comes to let's talk about nutrition for a minute, because I know there's a couple of you guys on here, because it's when digital nutrition has got a very specific frequency of the chemistry. So what's happening is when you ingest something, the body changes the matter, right? The particle, it changes it into energy. It shifts it into the wave, to pure energy. And and we say, well, but it's chemical. Yeah, but at the root of the chemical is still an energetic code. It's still a frequency. So we keep breaking it down, breaking it down. All of a sudden, all that's left is an energy, a vibration, right? And so it doesn't matter if it's an amino acid, if it's a protein, if it's a nutrient, it doesn't matter. At the end, the body's still breaking it down and reading the energy. At the cell level, it's reading energetic coding or just frequency. So what Healy does on the digital nutrition is it has very specific, it's recorded. Everything is recorded. All of the frequencies of every nutrient is recorded and in an energetic file, I guess you might say. And then there's combinations of those that will improve skin or improve brain function, or there's supplements for everything, right? So what Healy does is it takes in and creates frequencies around the chemistry and then puts it into mixes for the goal, to obtain a goal. And all it's doing is increasing bioavailability of what you're already ingesting. It's not replacing it. It's just upregulating the cell receptor sites or the energy for that nutrient to get into the cell and actually lock in its energetic influence. That's the coolest thing I've ever heard. I mean, I didn't know about digital nutrition until Healy invented it. And so I've heard other speakers talk about, hey, bioavailability of your food's only 10%, and Healy's going to up that. It's not 10%. Your bioavailability is higher than that, right? When you eat an organic, say, salad or something like that, if you're in stress response, your bioavailability is going to be crap. Okay, it's going to be nothing. So you're part of the equation. You can't relinquish your responsibility in your own healing. You can't step over your health to accomplish your email list. You that's not okay. So we got to be responsible. And Healy is not going to override that. It's not going to override that. If you're in stress response, even Healy's not going to get you out. It's going to help, but it's not going to do it all for you. So the nutritionists out there, I heard you say, I work on their mind, and then we're gonna change the body, because that's the equation. It's the mind that builds the matter. Without consciousness, without the mind, there will be no matter. This is where the information field comes in. All information, our blueprint, the beauty of who you are, the purity of who you are, the awesomeness of who you are is in the information field. As that signal starts to slow down and down regulate through the consciousness, which is the filter, the mind, down regulates into matter, into form, into the particle. It's influenced by the mind. And that's where disharmony starts to take place, right? That's where disease comes from, through that filtering mechanism of the mind. So you guys that are out there that are building a business with Healy, integrating Healy into it, it fits every single cell receptor site, every single one. So whatever your business is, Healy is an asset.
You are an asset, Ken.
This was
Like,
awesome.
I love you guys. I so much, dude. Thank you.
I've been watching everyone just be like, yes, yes, yes. The second that I met you, the second I met you in that lobby, I have not stopped taking in information from you. And I am so grateful. And we are all so grateful.
Oh, well, thank you. I mean, I'm going to share with your audience how we met because I think this is fun. It happens when we open our awareness. People walk in. Actually, people draw us in. I'm walking down the hallway on my way to the pool, and I just happen to remember the subconscious, the reticular activating system, 400 billion bits of information per second going through my awareness. It's super powerful, but I'm only aware consciously of 2,000 bits. 400 billion going on, the analysis of my world, subconscious. 2,000 is what I see. So I'm walking along, and there is a draw, there's a purpose, there's a desire for my head to turn right and look down this aisle. And I look down there and I see these two beautiful goddesses, one with a beaming smile. And I'm like, hi. And I kept walking. I didn't make it 10 steps and my legs turned my ass around. Oops, this is being recorded. So my legs turned this way, my body was going that, and it turned me around. And as I turned around, there is Ashley and Kristen. And that's where that moment we sat in that hallway speaking for 45 minutes, right? Because there was this moment right here would not have been built had my awareness not tapped on my shoulder. The reticular activation, the subconscious, had it not done this, this moment wouldn't happen. Right? We can't make this stuff up. It's just supposed to be.
So amazing. Well, you have to come on here like at least once a month. Is that possible?
Please.
You know what? Absolutely. I would be happy to. Absolutely. Yes. You heard me say I will be here. Yes, I would love to.
Everyone's so excited. Usually at this point, like everyone's like tired. I feel like nobody wants to get off, but and Erica got on a little late. She said, "What awesome planet did I stumble upon tonight?"
Oh, well, it's recorded, so you guys can go back and take a look at it. You know, I mean, hopefully you got some value out of this. You know, I also do calls with people, and if there's a topic that you guys want to unpack and really do a deep dive, hey, let's schedule a group. Let's invite your friends, your prospects, whatever. I've been doing that for 2.5 years, and my schedule is full of that. So I promise you, I will make a space for you, Ashley. I will make a space.
Oh, thank you. And I got to share another comment. Erica just said, and Erica doesn't really, this is kind of a big deal. And Erica's, she like, I don't even think she's ever really been introduced. She's always doesn't have her video on, but she just said, I've just felt my heart flutter when he touched his heart.
I do that a lot because my heart, so there's a process when we are in love with life, when we are in love with the moment, there is a nitric oxide is produced within the chemistry of our body, and it's a vasodilator, and our cardiac system expands, and my heart literally expands. And when it does that, it pushes on the back. I can feel the expansion on the back of my sternum. So I do that because I have to like hold it down a little bit so that yeah, it's a huge expansion, and it's thanks to you guys. It's thanks to you guys. I'm on a coherent signal with you, so
We love you, Ken.
oh, I love you. Thank you.
Does anyone have any last things to say? I don't think any of us want to get off, but it's a little late. So
yeah, it's 8 o'clock for me. So what? 11 o'clock for you guys?
10.
10 o'clock. 10 o'clock. I'm in a
10.
different time zone now. Yeah. Right.
Everyone's, oh, Rita, it's 4 a.m. So.
Oh, Rita, you rock. I'm
Yeah,
so happy you're here. I'm so happy.
She does. Oh, is there any good resources for anyone over in Norway?
So they're trying to build things. I mean, right now your back office, when you click on your region, on your country, all the content in the back office is relevant to your country. And it's coming. You guys are in the right place. Trust that. Believe that you are whole and complete as you are. And you're just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. So you're not missing anything. So I love your question about, is there more content? Is there more? Is there more? That's a perfect question, because when we ask, is there more? The universe says, yes, there is, and shows you. So just ask it in a way of curiosity and love and abundance, not in the way of any kind of lack or worry or fear. Just stay in that heart and it'll show up. In fact, I have a meeting tomorrow morning with Mohammed, which is our head of marketing. We're going to start to build some personable marketing content. And the United States is going to be, we've been the example, and we're just going to let it propagate out into other countries. But it always gets to the world eventually. Just be patient. But thank you for being here, Rita, because I remember I was up 2 o'clock in the morning because the only resources I could find was in Australia. And I was plugged in, turned on, tuned in, and I was on their calls all the time. And my schedule, I was almost flip-flopped. It was crazy.
She said, thank you for saying that. That's awesome. Well, I would like everyone to get off mute and just say thank you and I love you to Ken. He's doing it. They're doing it in the chat, but he can't read chats right now. So please, this was probably the most amazing call we've ever had. So, and if you guys don't feel like you're in the right place at the right time, then I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I want to say personally, thank you, Ken.
We love you.
Thank you so much.
Yes, thank
My
you.
heart's so full. Thank you.
It's nice to hear somebody speak the language. I get this.
Yep. Wonderful. Thank you, Ken.
Thank you, Ken.
Thank you, Megan.
Ken,
thank you, Alicia.
Ken.
I always learn so much.
Guys,
And Ken, I want to tell you too, Ken, I took so much of your advice from last weekend and used it in my fitness all week, and what a game changer it was.
Oh, wow. Share one thing.
So the other day, so one thing he was saying, think about the root of it. So maybe you're going to work out and you're not feeling it, put on positive thoughts or one of those programs. So I did that first, and then I went out for a run and I had put on my app. And so I put performance on and I tucked it in the back of my shirt and put the probes on my back, and I put on performance, and I started to run thinking my app was going to tell me when I hit a mile. And finally I was like, God, I feel like I've been running a long time, and it had been 2.5 miles. So I had to turn around and go back. So, and I haven't run in forever. I just wanted to go outside and be grounded, but I ran 5 miles the whole time.
Wow.
Felt great. I never felt that, I never felt like I had done 5 miles, which I've done it in the past. And then I came home and then I ran regeneration afterwards, and I'm not even really sore. And that's normally that would have destroyed me from not running for a really long time. So it was a cool experience. I called Mia and I was like, oh my God.
Isn't that great? That's
Yeah.
so great. And
so
and
cool.
so the next phase of where I'm going is I'm going to start building protocols for the fitness industry in both pre, during, and post recovery protocols. So that we can start and not just single but dual Healy systems. So I hack it with 2 Healys at the same time. I'm running microcurrent and magnetic energy at the same time. Think about this. If you're running microcurrent, running the muscle program for muscle synthesis, and you're running microcurrent to change ATP production within the cell simultaneously while you're running the coil on the strength program, what are you building? You're creating a genetic code going to the cells of not just muscle, but strong muscle. Right?
Boom.
Boom.
That's a
That's
boom
awesome.
moment. I need another smartphone. I have 2 Heelys, but I don't have another way to run them both.
I have an
Let
extra
me tell
one
you,
that you
let me
could
tell you
use.
another hack. Let me tell you another hack. So send the program to Healy number 1, hook up, shut it off. Actually, not shut off. Go to your settings and say, search for another Healy. Turn on Healy number 2 with the same app. Scan the serial number. Send the next program to that Healy, and they're both running at the same time. One app.
No.
2 Heelys.
Yeah.
Booyah!
What just happened?
I have a phone for you.
Can you spare it? My mind
my
just got
gosh.
totally blown. I don't even know what to say right now. I'm like, there's so
There's
much
2 more.
opportunity.
Yes, this is awesome. I am so blown away. So
Yeah,
I'm
thank
very,
you.
very appreciative to be part of this. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, everybody's on here. Just if you found value here, share it. You know, when we go into our internal state, into our trance, into our meditation, into our prayer, into our dreams, and we find something that's valuable, we need to bring it back into this 3-dimensional space and use it for ourselves, but also share it with the world.
Yep.
You know, Les Brown says that the richest place in the universe is the cemetery, where everybody takes their dreams to the burial ground with them. Don't do that. Don't leave any dreams unsaid or on the, when you leave this planet, don't leave anything undone. Share everything. Share you, because the world can only hear you, your voice, not mine. I love you guys.
Oh my gosh.
I just
Everybody.
want to hug you all right now. I want to hug
I
everybody.
know.
I'm like,
We feel the same way. Oh my gosh.
Ken drops the mic.
Yes, yes, he does. Thank you so much, Ken.
Thank
I
you.
don't think I'm not going to be the first one to hang up.
Oh my goodness.
know.
we'll
It's
do
like
this
that
all night.
conversation where you're like,
Okay.
bye, bye, bye.
All right.
No, you
Love to
hang
everyone.
You see this? Look,
Thank
look.
you.
You see this? You see this hat, you guys? Every single one of you
Epigeneer.
are an epigeneer. You're creating your own genetic code right now.
Mhm.
Every single one. 800,000 cells per second. Go out there and make them rock solid, super stellar. All right, guys.
I promise we'll have Ken talks on
Yay.
once a month.
Yes.
All right.
Woo!
Bye, guys.
Night.
Good night.
Thank you.
Good night.
That was awesome.
Oh my goodness.
Night.
Bye-bye. I still see that. I heard the cricket. Nope, no more cricket. Oh, I hear the
No.
cricket.
I think Mia's the cricket.
You think I'm the cricket?
I think you're the cricket.
Try it. Just mute yourself and we'll see if it goes away. And then
Yeah, Mia's the cricket.
gone.
You know what it is? It's my processor in my computer. I've been saying it's 6 years old. It's a Mac, and I've been saying I'm going to get a new one. And I'm like, oh. And you know, Alicia jumped off this call, but I'm going to let the cat out of the bag. We're starting a podcast. I talked her into doing one with me. So we're starting a separate podcast on called Transcend Life. So I just and I started it today. We did our first recording today. So it's kind of funny that whole birthing thing and everything. I'm like, wow.
Amazing. Amazing.
Yeah.
Very exciting.
There's no accidents, are there?
No, there isn't. There really isn't. I firmly believe that. Firmly.
Well, congratulations, Mia, by the way. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
If you ever need a guest, hey, if I can be a benefit.
We already have you. We literally already put you on the list about 35 minutes ago. I wrote you down. Yep. Needs to be on this show.
Aw,
so thank you.
So awesome.
My pleasure. My
Oh,
pleasure.
what the hell am I going to talk about next week, Ken? Jeez.
We can give you
all of your goddess warrior self. That's it.
Oh, well, thank you for being here. I'm gonna jump off now unless anyone has anything else they want to say.
Thank you so much.
Rita, you're such a badass.
What'd
Okay.
she say?
She said, well, the fact that she's even, oh, whoops, wrong button. She said, this was so amazing. Thank you for tonight. And for her, it's like 4 a.m. And I'm just so proud of her. And like, it just makes me feel that you just said that thing about Australia. It makes me so happy for her that because someone, after they found out that she was interested, a friend was like, oh, you could just buy one for me. I'll give you back the commission. And she had a strong resonance with our team, Anna specifically. And so she bought her her Healy from Anna and ended up here in the Vibe Tribe. And it's a little lonely out there in where she is, but she's here with us. And so it's very humbling. Yeah, that she's here.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm just so excited to be a part of this and to have met all of you, and just so grateful. So very grateful. It is like you're just at the right spot, the right time with the right people. Thank you.
It's awesome.
Yeah, go.
Yeah.
All right, everyone.
Well,
I'm gonna hop off.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ken.
All right.
Bye,
Thanks
guys.
for your time.
See
Bye.
you later. Good night.
Bye. Oh, how do I do stop recording?